Hey, it's your girl, your favorite paralegal, aka Cassandra Lynn, and welcome to Legal Doc Talk 24/7. Hey, y'all, so this is a full complaint read of the Christopher Brown. I'm about to say Chris. Well, that is his name, Christopher Maurice Brown, aka Chris Brown, aka uh, Chris Breezy, my favorite. He's just my favorite. Anywho's, this is in regards to his $500 million lawsuit for defamation against Ample, Warner Brothers, and a few other individuals. It was what was it? A couple of days ago, probably what Tuesday, it came out that he was suing in regards to the defamation um, documentary. What was it? A Chris Brown, a history of violence, something along those lines. I still need to go find this so I can actually watch this and see. But um, whatever was entailed in that documentary, he wasn't having it. And it's a clear indication that people. And these organizations, corporations, media outlets need to be very, very careful when it comes to allowing people to come onto your platform and saying certain things about another person without even fact checking everything that they say, just like with the Diddy lawsuit against Courtney Burgess and Ariel Mitchell. You just can't sit here and put out false allegations and think that there's not going to be any repercussions when it comes to that. So Chris Brown has had enough, and he said it's go time in 2025. So without further ado, let's hop right on into it. All right, so this case was filed on January 21st in the Los Angeles Superior Court of California. He is suing for defamation, intentional infliction of emotional distress, as well as a claim for a violation of California Code Section 3344. He is demanding a jury trial, and the defendants are Ample, a limited liability company, Warner Brothers Discovery, Chantel Deja Frank, Scotch Cool, Sharon Carpenter, Michelle Taylor, Sherelle Dorsey, and Doe's 1 through 100. So I'm assuming anybody who had a role in that documentary has been added to this complaint and more than likely will be added to an amended complaint. Let me see, because there's a lot of people I don't know. So Chantel, she's in Hollywood. Cool lives in New York. Carpenter in New York. Michelle Taylor, New York. Dorsey lives in California. All right, so here are the allegations. To put it simply, this case is about the media putting their own profits over the truth. Since the beginning of October 2024, Ample LLC and Warner Brothers were put on notice that they were promoting and publishing false information in their pursuit of likes, clicks, downloads, and dollars, and to the detriment of Chris Brown. So, off the rip, a demand letter was sent. A demand letter was sent, probably asking them to remove this documentary, and they didn't, comply with it. Thus, the reason why we have a lawsuit. Ultimately, on October 27th, 2024, they aired Chris Brown: A History of Violence, knowing that it was full lies and deception and violating basic journalistic principles. They did so after being provided proof that their information was false and their storytelling, Jane Doe, had not only been discredited over and over, but was in fact a perpetrator of intimate partner violence and aggressor herself. Mr. Brown has never been found guilty of any X related crime, rape, sexual battery, sexual assault, etc. But this documentary states in every available fashion that he is a serial rapist and sexual abuser. Ample, Warner, Cool, Carpenter, Trailer, Dorsey, and Jane Doe, who we now know is Deja Chantel Frank, completely disregarded the fact in an attempt for fame and fortune, all at the cost of Chris Brown and the reputation he has worked diligently in redeeming over the last decade. Mr. Brown's past mistakes have been publicly acknowledged and addressed by him in his 2017 documentary, Chris Brown Welcome to My Life. Mr. Brown has grown from these experiences and his evolution speaks for itself. This new production ignores that growth, choosing instead to repackage stale accusations while amplifying them with demonstrable falsehoods. On October 27, 2024, the defendants released their documentary, which is riddled with sensationalized, unfounded, and defamatory allegations against Mr. Brown. These include accusations of violent and criminal acts such as alleged sexual assault and evidence tampering claims that have been discredited, dismissed by the courts, or outright fabricated. Central to the documentary's misleading narrative is Chantel Deja Frank, previously identified in legal proceedings as Jane Doe. On January 28, 2022, Frank filed a frivolous civil lawsuit against Mr. Brown in LA Superior Court under the pseudonym Jane Doe. In this baseless lawsuit, Frank alleged claims of sexual assault, battery, violation of gender violence statute, intentional and negligent infliction of emotional distress, and false imprisonment. However, Frank's claims were determined to be entirely fabricated, leading to the withdrawal of her attorneys and dismissal of the case on August 25, 2022, after a Miami Beach police detective uncovered text messages sent by Frank that exposed her dishonesty. Rolling Stone March 2022 investigative report further discredited her claims. A true and accurate copy of this article is attached here too and incorporated herein as Exhibit A. Despite this, the documentary's producers portrayed Frank as credible, ignoring her established lack of veracity. Frank's history of violence and erratic behavior should have raised red flags for any responsible journalist. In 2021, her ex boyfriend filed a restraining order after she physically assaulted him, threatened him with a knife, and engaged in online harassment. A true and correct copy of the request for a domestic violence restraining order and the court's order granting the restraining order is attached hereto and incorporated herein as Exhibit B. Specifically, on June 16, 2021, Frank's ex boyfriend sought a domestic violence restraining order against Frank. The case was dismissed on July 2021, following Frank's ex boyfriend's signed declaration and after Frank's arrest by LAPD on June 8, 2021. Importantly, in his declaration, Frank's ex boyfriend stated as follows: Status of the relationship. The respondent is my former girlfriend, whom I met online on or about May 2021. We have never lived together. Current abuse. Since respondent was released from jail, she has been calling and texting me constantly. She has also texted my friends and threatening messages and damaging information. Because Respondent is an influencer on Instagram with 50,000 followers, many of her followers, complete strangers, are now sending me death threats or unaliving threats. I'm sorry. I am able to use my Instagram or social media due to these threats. Respondent has also sent inflammatory statements and threats to my job. On or about June 8, 2021, Respondent would not allow me to leave her home and strangled and hit me. Later, respondent pulled out a knife and threatened to unalive me. The respondent placed the knife against my stomach. Respondent then put the knife to my neck and nicked me. The police came and assessed the situation and took respondent to jail. A true and correct copy of the respondent's booking information is attached hereto as Exhibit 1. The police also gave me an emergency protective order. A copy of the respondent's EPO can be furnished to the court at the time of the hearing. Respondent has an upcoming court hearing on October 6, 2021. Why I need a restraining order? I feel threatened, abused, and afraid for my well being and my livelihood. I am very afraid of losing my job. The respondent is violent and erratic. Her dangerous knife wielding was a threat to my life. I feel unsafe and unable to use social media for work due to these threats. This lady is crazy. See Exhibit B. These incidents, detailed in court records and leading to her arrest by the Los Angeles Police Department, were disregarded by defendants, who instead framed her as a reliable source to bolster their sensationalized portrayal instead of the physical aggressor in a romantic relationship. After being put on notice that the documentary contained false claims and violated journalistic professional standards, defendant persisted in releasing this documentary. By doing so, the defendants have demonstrated a blatant disregard for journalistic integrity and truth. Their actions exhibit actual malice as they prioritized profit over facts, ignoring publicly available court records and other credible evidence. The defamatory content in the documentary has caused significant harm to Mr. Brown's reputation, career, and business opportunities. Beyond its personal impact on Mr. Brown, the documentary undermines responsible storytelling and discredits true survivors of violence. As a result of defendant's conduct, Mr. Brown has been left with no choice but to file the lawsuit to protect not only his reputation, but also the public from improper journalistic tactics employed by the defendants. By disregarding established truths and prioritizing sensationalism over integrity, the defendants have crossed a line that cannot be ignored. This legal action seeks to hold them accountable for their reckless behavior and to ensure that the public is not misled by the distorted narratives they promote. Through this lawsuit, Mr. Brown reaffirms his commitment to truth and fairness, standing against those who exploit information for profit as the expense of justice and responsible storytelling. Importantly, this lawsuit is not an attempt to strife free speech. Rather, it is a fight to uphold the truth and ensure that the defendants are held accountable for the malicious conduct. For those who generally wish to understand Mr. Brown's journey, his 2017 documentary, Chris Brown, Welcome to My Life, offers an honest and vulnerable portrayal of his past. And I agree. See, what happens is these defendants get out here and holler free speech all day long. If we could go and do our due diligence, check court records, check out other, information out there to fact check, we have that availability to do so. So when you fail to do that, I agree. File a lawsuit. File a defamation lawsuit. Because one way or other, people are going to stop coming to the media and trying to put out false information for a financial gain. This is crazy. First cause of action defamation. So plaintiff made the following statements. Frank stated that Chris Brown raped her. Chris Brown has a predisposition of punching women in the face. Chris Brown manipulated or deleted text messages when he gave them to the Miami Police Department. First and foremost, they can subpoena phone records. So although you deleted it from your phone where you physically cannot see it, they can subpoena the phone record and actually pull everything. And a lot of people don't know it is also stored in your cache. You could actually restore deleted text messages. I took computer science at school as well. So, yeah. Defendants made statements in the documentary that was disseminated to the public on the Investigation Discovery Network channel. Plaintiff is informed and believes and based their on allegation alleges that those people who watched and continue to watch the documentary reasonably understood that the statements and depictions are and were about plaintiffs because at the very least the title of the documentary being called Chris Brown: A History of Violence. Plaintiff is informed and believes that based thereon alleges that These or those people who watch and continue to watch the documentary reasonably understood that the statements and depictions to mean that plaintiff committed the crime of rape and obstruction of justice or tampering with evidence. All of the above statements were and remain false. Because the circumstances known to those people are watching or who are watching and continue to watch the documentary and listens to above statements, it tended to injure plaintiff in his profession and expose him to hatred, contempt, ridicule, and shame. Based on the above reference allegations incorporated into this cause of action, defendants knew that the statements were false and had serious doubts about the truth of statements. As a result, in substantial factor of defendant's wrongful conduct, plaintiff suffered harm to his reputation and profession as an entertainer, had to pay court costs and attorney fees, and suffered emotional distress. Defendants acted for the purpose of causing plaintiff to suffer severe emotional distress and are guilty of malice, oppression, and fraud, therefore justifying an award of exemplary and punitive damages. So the second cause of action is an intentional infliction of emotional distress. Why? Well, he suffered emotional distress because defendants acted with a reckless disregard to determine, whether or not what they were saying in that documentary were false. They disregarded the truth, in other words, and they disregarded knowing that Chris Brown was going to suffer in every possible way. Let's see. Now, as far as the California Civil Code, this is against the plaintiff. Well, I'm sorry, no, against the defendants Ample and Warner Brothers. So, what was their part in it? Um, let's see. It says defendants Ample LLC and Warner Brothers, without plaintiff's prior consent, knowingly used plaintiff's name, voice, and likeness in the recently released documentary Chris Brown: A History of Violence, which aired on or about October 27, 2024. Defendants Ample and Warner Brothers used plaintiff's name, voice, likeness for commercial purposes, including promoting, advertising, and distributing the documentary to generate revenue and increase viewership. Let me see. They sensationalized, unfolded, and defamatory allegations about Chris Brown to maximize profits, despite publicly available evidence disproving those claims. There is a direct connection between defendants' use of plaintiff's name, voice, and likeness and their commercial purposes, as the documentary prominently features plaintiff, and its success relies on leveraging his celebrity status and controversial history to attract viewers. This is so sad. Defendant's use of plaintiff's name, voice, and likeness does not fall within any statutory exemption under the California Code, Civil Code Section 3344D. The documentary does not constitute news, public affairs, or any protected form of expression, but rather a commercial product designed for profit through sensationalized and misleading content. As a direct and proximate result of defendant's unauthorized use of plaintiff's name, voice, and likeness, Chris Brown has suffered significant harm, including damaging his reputation, loss of business opportunities, emotional distress, and economic harm. The defamatory content of the documentary has irreparably tarnished plaintiff's career and standing in the public eye. Because, in all honesty, people are still like, he done what he did. Rihanna has forgiven him, but yet people are still carrying on with the same rhetoric, with the same scenario. Here, it clearly state that I didn't even know who this. I knew he had a stalker, but clearly she stalked somebody else, and they met online. So why would a media company produce a documentary knowing that this lady is a liar? He has all the right to sue. Under the California Civil Code, Section 3344, plaintiff is entitled to greater of actual damages or 750, as well as any profits attributable to defendant's unauthorized use. He is asking for total damages in the amount of 500 million, which is a portion of which will be donated to the survivors of sexual abuse. He's asking for damages, including emotional distress damages, according to proof on each cause of action. So that's for defamation as well as intentional infliction of emotional distress. Those two cause of actions. And possibly three. So actually, three causes of actions. He's asking for special damages, compensatory damages, punitive damages, prejudgment and post-judgment interest, cost of the lawsuit, reasonable attorney fees and costs, and whatever other relief that the court deems just and proper. Whew, can't even speak. All right, so let's look at these exhibits. All right, so here, Rolling Stone published Chris Brown grape accuser loses lawyers after text found on phone. So this is when I remember this. Miami police recovered text messages on the woman's phone that complicate her came wait, complicate her claims Chris Brown rugged and raped her on Diddy's yacht. Mm. Look at that. Wait a minute. I don't like talking on the phone, but ish like that. I'm just being proactive. Oh, ish. Okay, I'll get one. I definitely didn't. Oh, oh, this is him. Oh, okay, babe, that's fine. I blah, blah, blah. Ew. I ain't reading that out loud. Look at all the little girl. Oh, I'm sorry. My puppy's going off. Child. All right. So this is the domestic restraining order that the boyfriend had to end up taking out on her. Look, Deja Frank right there. That's crazy. Oh, let me see. Does it show? Okay, that's not the court order. So this is just the application that he took out. Same thing that we seen in the Megan Thee Stallion case. Let me see what was actually ordered. That's crazy. All right, this is the declaration that was inside the complaint. And here is her the the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. This is her arrest record. $50,000 bill. Mm. This girl went to jail. Oh man. I'm trying to find the actual order because normally it says, you see how it says this is a court order. Ha! Let me see. I'm trying to see. Okay, so hearing date, court held, this is the court. Da, 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 da. Trying to see exactly. Oh, this is just a temporary restraining order. Granted, June 16, 2021. I wonder how long it lasted. Okay. Well, that's it on that. So that's the Chris Brown suit. So as I said before, I have not watched the his documentary, nor have I watched this documentary where it states a history of violence, but I am going to watch it to kind of get some more clarification on what was said, who the players were in that. But overall, Chris Brown does have a right to definitely file a lawsuit against someone who is making false claims that can be proven, that can be fact checked. How can you say that somebody raped you when it was determined that he did not rape you? The relationship was consensual. And for the news media to actually, not just the news media, for these companies to say, okay, hey, yeah, let's make a movie about it. It'd be different if you made a movie, did not have Chris Brown's name in it, changed all the characters, had a different set, that would have been different. Because we've seen the movies that come out on Tubi and stuff like that, right? But for you to actually have a documentary with someone who has been discredited, you deserve to get sued. Let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until then, you all be blessed, and I'm out. Bye.